Hi Cancer, welcome to your monthly tarot reading with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining me. So, before we start, I would like to call into both of these decks all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I hope that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good, as always. So, yeah, let's just go straight into it. So this is relevant for me as well, as many of you know by now, because I am a Cancer moon. I was born under a full moon, which is in the sign of Cancer. Very proud of that fact. Cancerian energy is a very special one, and it's very dear to me as well, actually. And I share my moon sign with my partner, believe it or not. So that's cool. Okay, so your actions and your interactions with the world at large. You have the Ten of Wands. Now, before I go into this, I just want to say, if you haven't seen it yet, don't forget to check out your Mercury retrograde in Aries special. There's one for each sign of the zodiac, and they're already up. They have been for a while. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. So the Ten of Wands in your actions and your interactions. So your actions and your interactions is what you do, how you do it, and how it's received in the world. And the Ten of Wands is all about doing things. It's about movement, actually. For many of you this month, this is going to be about you moving. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of people say, oh, don't move under a Mercury retrograde. The home is the most important power center for the Cancerian. You know, and I believe that as well, because when you think about a crab, it takes its home with it, you know. That's what the whole thing is all about. But it's also about nourishment. It's also about nurturing. And the Ten of Wands is moving things from one place to another, but it's never actually a hardship. This talks very much about you deciding where you want to be. It's about making your home your power base. It's about making your surroundings, whether they be whether it be your home at the office, whether it be your physical home. This is going to be a month where you're really shifting things around. You know, you're going to be spring cleaning because spring is here. You're going to be really getting to grips with making the most and the best out of the space that you inhabit, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, you know, as in your actual home. The other thing about the Ten of Wands is, when I see this card, I always say to people, it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to deliver what it is that you feel you need to deliver. However, sometimes we need to be acutely aware that people aren't necessarily ready for what it is that we bring with us. So this new attitude that seems to be emerging within the Cancerian energy field. And you know, because you guys have been through this whole metamorphosis, actually, of really saying, okay, you know what, I'm not just a nurturer. I'm not just a person that nourishes people. I'm actually a person in my own right, and I have... excuse me, I'm actually a person in my own right, and I have my own wants, needs, thoughts and feelings. Now, because you've been going through that change and that, you know, that evolution, you now arrive at a place where, you know, you're kind of saying things as they, I mean, Cancer always says what they feel, you know, literally what they feel, but usually in an undercurrent kind of way. Whereas this month, you're not going to be mincing any words, you know, the Mercury retrograde, whereas for most people, it kind of tends to subdue them. What I feel like, especially with this card, it's actually bringing things to the forefront and making you go, you know what, I haven't got time for that. I don't have the energy for it. This is this is that. And you can be on board or you can not be on board. And that's actually a really powerful position to be in, because it means that the right people will stay in your space and in your area and your life, and the wrong people will either pass you by on their way into your life, or they will vacate your life. So yeah, but there's a lot, especially with the number 10, you know, there's a lot of finality about this. You know, I kind of see you very much drawing lines in the sand, and where things end is where they end this month. So yeah, just think about what you say before you say it. You know. So your money and your materials. So you get the High Priestess. This is you. This is us. in our entirety. Now, the really interesting thing about this is the High Priestess actually represents the sign of Cancer, but this represents the deep internal aspect of Cancer. So we're talking about your money and your materials. So if you've got any hunches this month of where you can make extra money, of a job that you think you would be perfect for, if you have got ideas of where to move to in terms of your next job, your next arena of work, your next project for work, your next big idea, listen to your intuition. I mean, Cancerians do that better than most signs anyway, because you know, it's the sign of the mother, it's the sign of the wife, it's the sign of the creatrix, it's the sign of, you know, the moon, it's the sign of the depth of the ocean, aside from Scorpio. You know, the Cancerians do this stuff very, very well. Cancerian energy is among the most psychic energy there is. So really, really powerful card for you to have. It also represents hidden things being revealed. Now, in your movement, in your shaking things up, in your spring cleaning the office and your spring cleaning the home, you may well come across objects or money that you had put aside. You know, this feels to me like you're finding something that is worth something that has value, a monetary value that you had forgotten about. It's something you already own or you already possess, you know, and in the movement that you create, or the, what's the word? In the, you know, in the cleaning that you do, you end up unearthing, because, you know, it's like archaeology. You dig and dig and dig and dig, and then you unearth something, or, you know, it's like the discovery that you don't expect to make. That's kind of the best way that I can put it. In terms of your health, this would be a really, really good month, you know, to maybe seek out people that do energy healing, to, you know, go and see a Reiki practitioner. You'd get a lot from that. A Chi practitioner, you know, acupuncture, anything that's considered a little bit esoteric, a little bit energetic as well. You would gain a lot from, you would benefit a lot from. Now, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but with this card in this position, you know, because your money and your materials isn't just your finances, it's also your body and your home. And in terms of your physical body, yeah, you would benefit from those things a lot this month. And it's about not letting your physical body take the emotional brunt of everything that's happening, certainly under the Mercury retrograde. But really, really interesting. So in the move and the relocation of things, you find something that, you know, it could be something that was lost, but I kind of just feel like it's something that you've forgotten about, and in the shifting of everything, you come across this thing again. And in terms of money as well, this is hidden things revealed. So this is about following your hunches. It might even be that in the course of speaking to somebody at work, you discover that actually there's a position coming up that will be absolutely perfect for you, and it puts you in a prime position to go for said, you know, to start preparing for that interview now, before anybody even knows that the position is available. It's that kind of thing, you know, it's this you learning information that puts you ahead of the curve. In the communications, you have the moon. So your moon represents your past, it represents your instincts, it represents, you know, some people say it can be your past lives. I like to think of it as your past in this life. You know, your past lives have an echo in this life, they absolutely do, but I like to think of the moon card as the past in this life. And this is about your communication sector. This is about, and then you've got the High Priestess here, which has strong links to the moon, you know, another water sign. So you've got Cancer, now you've got the Pisces. This is a lot of water and fire. So this is very much, because the moon card is about your instinct as well. It's borrowed light, and it's sometimes looking at the past through rosy tinted glasses. He says, I was readjusting his glasses. So your communication sector this month is going to be a little murky for everybody. And the reason it's going to be a little bit murky for everybody is because we've got the Mercury retrograde going on. But the Moon card adds an extra dimension to that, because it starts to ask you to look at your past communications. It starts to ask you to look at your past style of communication. What have you learned about how you communicate? What have you learned about how you don't communicate, maybe? You know, this is asking you to get really in touch actually with what you have to say and what you want to say. And it's about finding a way to interact and communicate with people on their level, but still get your personal message across. And then you've got your money and your communications. How is this working out for you? Well, it could be, you know, so the past and the intuition or secrets revealed. So this could be, you know, again, somebody giving you information about a previous job that you've had. I kind of feel like for Cancerians, this is a very outward changing month. For all of the other signs, it seems to have been quite deeply internal, the shifts that are happening. But change of residence, possibly office, change of work, you know, change of financial status, change, but on a very external level. You know, we're talking about outward changes happening here. And again, you know, with your money, your materials and your communications, it's like maybe you're hearing that actually a job that you used to do, that you used to love, has just become available again. Or you know, that you might be able to work with a colleague that you really enjoyed. You know, they might be joining you at your work, and that then brings a different type of energy and a different dynamic to what you do and how you can do it. But certainly be open to communication this month, and, you know, really trust your gut, really listen to what your feelings say. And then finally, your heart and your half, your emotional connections. So straight away, 2 cards have popped out. So I'm going to take these two as your I'm going to take this as your heart and your half. So you've got the 8 of Cups, and I'm going to take this as your key to the month. I mean, that's absolutely stunning. So the 8 of Cups there in your heart and half. So you've got Cups in the Cups sector, and that talks about walking away from disappointment. It talks about getting over something that's hurt you. For those of you that are coupled, this is you genuinely being able to I say this because a lot of people are like, ooh, Cancerians, don't be letting go. Like, and it's kind of true. When something or someone hurts us deeply, we do not forget it lightly. You know, we don't let that shit go, because then we believe, as you know, and I can't speak for all of us, you know, I'm a Cancerian moon. You could be a sun sign Cancerian or an ascendant sign Cancerian. But when something or someone hurts us on a deep level, we tend not to forget about it. We'll forgive grudgingly. But we tend not to forget about it. And the reason we don't forget about it is so that it doesn't leave us open for somebody else to do us that same wrong. This month, you are able to truly let go of it and transcend it, whether that's something that a partner has said or done to you that's really hurt you, whether it is a family member or a friend that's done something or said something that's really hurt you. This month you are really able just to let that energy go and say, you know what, it is what it is, and I've got so much other movement happening in my life that I don't have the scope to hang on to something, because that's a lot of wasted time and wasted energy. For those of you that are single, this is you finally putting down those past hurts and saying, okay, you know what, I can move past this, and more importantly, I'm now all about my future. Your actions in your hearth kind of says that you're really, I mean, look, you know, this guy's walking away from the disappointment. The 10 of Wands guy is walking, you know, towards something. Movement. This is really big shifts. This is really big external changes taking place this month. And that's really exciting. Your key to the month, you get the Magician. If you were given a magic wand tomorrow and you could wave it and say, this is what I want, what would you ask for? That's what you're being asked this month. You know, there's going to be a lot of changes, and it's kind of like, you know, you're going to be like, shit, the ground is shifting underneath me. I don't know. I don't feel secure. I don't feel this. I don't feel that. And that's a good thing. Embrace it, because when the dust finally settles and all of these changes have been implemented, you're going to be stood there at the precipice of a brand new life with a magic wand in hand. And it's like the changes are all happening anyway, and then you get there and you've got this wand. So it's like, okay, so not only have I made all of the changes that needed to be made in my life, some of them by shock, I might add as well, you know, because of the retrograde and stuff. Now I get to really make and create everything that I want to create. You know, and this is you doing that. I mean, you've got the magician here, and then you've got the high priestess. These two together, I mean, that's pure power, because he's the power on the external level. He's the changes that happen on the external level. She is the transformation that takes place within. You know, so the magician would be the power, the high priestess would be the power pack. You know, and these two things working together, it's you know, it's the equivalent of the sun trining the moon in astrology. You know, it's like the finger of God. And what's the finger of God? Well, the finger of God is the wand. You know, what do you want to create in your life? Make your wish and state it out to the universe and throw it out there with as much intention as you've got. You know, and from a moon sign, Cancer, for me, the way that I'm interpreting this for myself is if I can get really clear on an emotional level about what I want to create in my world and my life and in my immediate environment, holding that vibration long enough, strong enough and powerful enough is only going to ripple out into the universe and then bring it right back to me. But I have to hold that vibration in purity and clarity. I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Have an amazing month and I will see you very soon. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I am truly grateful for it. Love you loads. Take care.